Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Weekend on Enterprise Television. We would love you to grab your cup of coffee this morning, get cozy, and start your weekend off right with us. Join us as we dive into the latest news, trends, and stories that matters the most. And right about now, we're going to our newspaper headlines to see what we have for you this morning. And after that will be our main conversation also for today. So while we get everything all sorted out for you, please do well to belong to our community. Join our tribe, have a say in what we say, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7 and log on to our website for more information at www.enterprisetvnews.com. I am Henry.
And I'm Choma Koher.
All right, so let's start off the newspaper headlines today. But before doing that, our guests today in the studio are Barrister Evans Ufeli, a barrister, law and public affairs analyst, and Emeka Mabunago, journalist, and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Enterprise Weekend today.
Okay, we will be starting off with the Vanguard newspaper. And the big story here, Nigerians to Tinubu. Palliatives not solution to food shortage. Details are on page 10. I will have about 3 riders to that particular story. Urge federal government on emergency in food security. Tackle insecurity caused by harvest. Lastly, initiate a national food production policy. And getting into another important and a big story here from Dangote. If we knew the magnitude of what we were going into, we would have. That is the big story, and details are on page 16.
Yes, and also in addition to that story on Dangote, we equally have it here. Dangote Refinery only 45% completed, product inferior, not licensed, and that's coming from NMDPRA. And we have it exclusively here that Farouk Ahmed, the chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed says Nigeria cannot rely on a product from the Dangote refinery. According to him, the quality of the refinery's product was inferior compared to the imported quality of products around the world. And while denying claims that the agency was trying to scuttle Dangote's refinery, he said the agency was concerned about the nationwide supply of petroleum products if the country relied on the refinery alone. Mr. Vansufeli, isn't this disturbing? Going, especially coming from what we have discussed in the past. Do you think there is a shady deal here somewhere?
This is very disturbing because it looked like a very simple issue, not a simple issue. Because now the Dangote refinery is being demarketed. I know that the duty and responsibility of that organization is to ensure that there's quality control. Quality control is what they are dealing with now. But sometimes quality control report is not meant for public consumption.
Yes.
Because you need to protect your indigenous company. It's not for public consumption. That report ought to go to the relevant authority and the refinery itself that is doing that. Because the products are usually, they take them to the lab after production. All the soft drinks you drink and all that, there's a lab in the plant where they take it to. I have, as a school leaver, worked in one of the plants, soft drink plants. And I noticed something after production, a whole tank will be thrown away. A whole tank will be thrown away because the lab result is negative. So, and they cannot take it out for public consumption. But you will not see them, the company or the lab that did the test, they will not come out to the press and say, you know what, we threw away how many liters because they were bad, they were inferior, they were this to the public. You don't do that. You understand? I thought they should know this. It is the government that will manage, ensure that all that Dangote has produced that is inferior, they ensure that it is destroyed or used for other lesser purposes. You understand? But not to come out to call a press conference. It's your indigenous, the IOCs will be laughing at you.
So you think this is highly suspect?
It's not right. I'm not saying they should allow that to go into the market, but I'm saying that it's not right for you to, put that in the press Because what you are doing now, you are demarketing Dangote, bearing in mind that it's not only Nigerians that are buying from Dangote or that will be buying from Dangote. The other African countries is going to feed, you understand, what is supposed to come into us, into our country in terms of foreign exchange. We're losing it because how many times have you seen other African countries that are producing fuel, PMS and all that, bringing this kind of information to the public, and you're uploading it on the internet and all that. So at the end of the day, whatever it is the indigenous company want to do in terms of intervention, it's been defeated already by indigenous attack on indigenous companies. So the answer will now be saying, I didn't tell you that your people cannot handle it. So
Thank you, Barrister Philip. Emeka, at this point, Nigerians would ask if Dangote's refinery and the product coming from there is tagged not good for consumption, and our government is telling us that they will be bringing up our refineries come August or so this year. What is the hope for that particular refinery that has been in extinct for a long time? What kind of products will now come out from that place?
Let me just tell you, first of all, thank you so much. This government's response is just petty because Dangote hit that agency, the NNPPRA, some weeks ago, where he said that poor quality petroleum products are coming into the country, and NNPPRA was not. They just came out and said, let me tell you something. You see, I keep saying this thing about competence, the low level of competence in public service, and it's really appalling. You don't resort to petty commentary. Even if Dangote hit that is a private sector player, you are government. You are supposed to do everything to protect your local industry. You can punish any infractions because the world is watching. There are 20 refinery licenses in Nigeria. Dangote is one. You are not telling his 19 competitors, including 4 state-owned, that you're not giving them an unfair advantage, and it's wrong. It's unethical. If you had to respond to Dangote, you could have just simply said, well, we have received the communication from Dangote, we have had, we had comment, we'll address them, and then you call a meeting. And then you sort out the issues. You don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Whether Dangote is 45%, look, technically, a project must not be 100% completed for it to go into operation. It shouldn't be. You'll be telling us that Poraka Refinery will be ready. Poraka Refinery is 70%. Now, they told us that Poraka Refinery will come on stream by next month. But don't forget, there was a recent report that Poraka Refinery was attacked. They put the attack report up. We don't know what kind of attack. So these people should spare us. At 45%, it shows that at least certain basic things have been put in place. Because you have to have installation. Then you go on. Then you get to, if you get to 70%, you can start a test run. Maybe the remaining things can now, be developed. Once you get to like 80%, of course, you can build the remaining, you have to also, in technical issues, you have to also give margin of error. What is your margin of error? You're just saying, throwing figures at 45% as if we are nonsense.
Okay.
But for Farouk Ahmed, yes, but for Farouk Ahmed to clearly say that the refinery itself is not licensed yet. This is not an accusation. It's coming from here. It's fact.
Then Farouk Ahmed should be prosecuted.
For what exactly?
Go online. Go on Google.
That's false.
I'm going to type refinery, licensed refineries in Nigeria. You'll see that today.
So, but why would you think Farouk Ahmed, with the position
He's a script. You can see even the way he was saying it. I believe it was rehearsed. He rehearsed what he said. And unfortunately, the media, I'm a part of the media, but I'll just say, the media allows people get away with very laughable comments.
This refinery that is claiming was not licensed was commissioned by Buhari.
Yes, I was
As completed.
Was commissioned by the president of the country.
Buhari was there.
Yet it's not licensed.
Tinubu was there.
Even other presidents came in.
Yes. So, but what's the difference? Commissioning and licensing. Aren't they
No,
two different?
could the president have gone to commission a project that's not licensed to operate?
So
No,
what
I
are we
mean,
getting wrong here?
let's see. No matter what the technical issues are, I don't know whether after getting license, I don't know that you also need to license the product.
Oh, okay.
Is it the product is talking about, or I don't know. But what I know and what I've read in newspaper is that Dangote, obtained license before I even started building and all that. If he does not have license to build a refinery or to own a refinery, the requisite regulatory authorities would have honed him down. Even the Lagos state government would have honed him down because that project is in the states. So you should show us the license before you start operation. So I don't think this is right. And he should stop talking. He should just stop talking because that Farouk have no indigenous company in Nigeria. He has not built anyone here. They allow people who have done something, okay, to be able to operate. This is in bad faith.
Okay.
And it's wrong.
Let me answer something. Because I've been into production in that area. In production, there's what we call SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. There is GMP, Good Manufacturing Practices, right? You are supposed to fulfill both before your factory is licensed. And when your factory is licensed, right, it is for the fact that your name is with CAC, registered. That will take with CAC. But the factory, the products will be licensed by the regulatory agency. When they are sure they've met the SOP, first the GMP, the installation, then the SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. The way you get the products, where do you get your products from, how do you load, how do you, the manual processes, the one that should not be manual, that should be automated and all that. That's SOP. So that is why I say Nigerian journalists should also be more open. If you said that, you break it down. Okay, which areas are you talking about? You put him on the spot. Let him, so that people like us who are into things like this, if we look at it, it's okay, the GMP, he got up to so the SOP, because you can't even allow him to even start anything without meeting the GMP. So if it's the SOP we are at, then tell us that, okay, in terms of the SOP, where we are still testing the product. Because you can't say the products are inferior. You are started selling these products. So you are just saying, normally, products go through, regular testing. Regulatory agencies will visit your factory. So if you on a visit, you notice that, maybe there were some workers that weren't putting on their kits. That could be an infraction. That could be a breach. In fact, a factory can be closed down for that.
Safety.
Yeah, safety. So but you don't just make a blanket statement.
And the truth is that no matter how long you have been in production, the fact that a batch of production went bad.
Yeah, it happened on Nestle.
These are people who have been in the business for over 100 years. All these cereals you see and all those things. If a batch is bad, does not mean the company is bad. The batch, you could have accidents, you could have maybe foreign body, maybe rats eat something and put in just something. That is why you have a standard laboratory system there that will ensure that what is produced meets the standard, because it's for consumption and it's inflammable. You understand? You need to accident. So if the right properties are not in the right measure in what you have produced, they will, if that is what Farouk met, he should know by now that it is that batch that is bad and not the entire refinery.
Yeah, thank you very much. But shortly, let's see it from this angle. This is not the first time, but this is not the first business Dangote has, because he's been producing, he started with all his consumables, household items and coal. Do you think this particular Dangote refinery would reveal something about the oil sector in Nigeria and how some things are not going through its due process? And that is why he's been threatened.
He's been threatened because he's actually talking too much too. And he's talking too much because he's frustrated. They're about to ruin this man. He's talking too much because he's frustrated too. And remember, they took loan to build that refinery.
Yes.
Not like he carry money from pocket to do it. He's rich, but you don't do it here. So the stakes are high. You understand? He needs to survive. He's pulling through to survive. And by virtue of his complaints, we are getting to know so much about what is going on. If I was here that was sat down, Henry was here that was sat down and predicted what would be the problem. And it turned out to be what the problem was. An energy expert spoke over the weekend and told us exactly what was going on. That the reason Dangote cannot get what he ought to get is because we have foreign sales, we have sold refineries and taken loans, even, sorry, I said refineries, crude.
Yeah.
That were not yet produced, that Buhari did and all that. So this Farouk that is talking now, when NNPC itself imported bad fuel into the country, what did he do about it? So many cars. I was lucky that before that batch came, I had my full tanks of the 2 cars. And that was why I didn't fall into that. Otherwise, the cars will be knocked down by now. So what did he do then? Did he petition the company where this thing came from, or the country? What did NNPC do to the damage that happened thereafter to the larger society? How many people went to court against? Because before you import into the country, you are supposed to take your time to look at what you are bringing in. Okay, so because it was from the West, from the foreign land, he couldn't open his mouth and talk. But the one that has the indigenous company had a batch that is bad. You are flaming the high heavens. This is very wrong.
It's we can go on and on and on. Onlookers and many Nigerians would wonder, why Dangote is suddenly becoming, being poked here and there. He used to be the darling of every government in Nigeria, but for Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, the case is different. Well, let's go on to the Saturday Telegraph, a newspaper. The big story here says hardship, how Tinubu can lift economy from doldrums, and that's by Idika Kalu.
Now, moving on the top strip, NDLEA intercepts 9.8 billion naira worth of fresh codeine shipments from India. Details are on page 7.
And also we have a federal government bans VIPs from using local airports for international flights.
Okay, moving on. Deficit in sector poses major challenges for Nigeria. Details are on page 28.
All right, so let's start with that particular story. Emeka, this is your sector, and we would love you to maybe bring us up to speed on what this is talking about. Housing for all, deficit in sector poses major challenge for Nigerians.
You see, the problem about housing is government inconsistency, insincerity, and incoherent policies, And, too often you find the personal interest of people in government, impeding government policies. Then again, there isn't a coherent policy about what kind of housing do we need to meet up, to cover the deficit. What kind of housing? You say low-cost housing, and you are pricing it at, 16 million, 20 million. How? Even a university professor who is earning 400,000 naira a month cannot in his entire working life pay for those things. It's still the same government officials who sells that go around through corrupt practices and buy those things back, and they now become landlords, all those high-rise flats and all that, and become the landlords. Then in the private sector, you have a lot of sharp practices because building materials are expensive, so people cut corners. The regulatory agencies that should, actually come and, test the strength of, the work that's done. They don't do anything because when they just come, they just mark X. And once they mark X, what any developer or builder knows, they just come and see us. And then when they get to the office, they come back and the X. In fact, some people they will leave the X for years, they don't care, because they've gone to the office to, do some things under the table. So when you're talking about housing deficit, also you need to break it down into different sectors. Is it the electrical side? Is it the material side? What about the labor? What about, current practices like in tiling now? There is a machine that makes tiling faster. There are innovations. But if you just say housing deficits, we like to use big words in Nigeria, housing deficits. The people in the villages are not having housing deficit. The rural areas are not having.
Now, why is it that the policies are always that you buy the house one-off outright? Why is there no mortgage?
No mortgage.
Why now you know that the public cannot afford to what you call low cost. There isn't anything that's low cost in Nigeria because government does not have counterpart funding in it. In countries where they carry the citizens along, the government will pay part of that. You understand? So here is the individual that is paying full, and you know that he's not really empowered financially because his salary cannot take on that. So why don't you draw a mortgage plan for him so that in 15 years, he would have offset whatever it is you have as a package for that building, considering that you add inflation, you add taxation, you add everything that you ought to have paid to get one off. If you don't do that, you build an house and say, these are the housing, this thing. Then you now expect, like you said, a professor in Nigeria is earning 400,000 naira.
Talk more of our civil servants that have just 70,000 naira.
Yes. The school I finished from, the school I did my master's. The reason I didn't go there, we were discussing it yesterday because they still called me yesterday. Because I was asked to, I and one other lady. The lady declined because the husband is in the US and that she has to go back. So I was left as because we have first, second in the department. So I should come and do this job. And I will not be able to do this job. Because people calling me, I've seen their shoes and I don't think that's how I want to, because even if I take on that job, I cannot use it to pay for a house that is as low as 16, 15 million, 10 million. I can't. So you draw up a mortgage plan so that in 15 years, that house belongs to the person as against somebody paying rent in 15 years and the money is blown away.
Now, talk to us briefly about investor confidence, particularly in Lagos, which is, of course, the center of everything in Nigeria. A situation where the government is not doing enough, the private sector wants to come into the circle, but a situation where an investor invests in real estate and he's not sure in the next 20 years if that property will belong to him. How do you think that would solve the problem of housing in Nigeria?
Okay, you invest in, you pay like a mortgage system and you're not sure whether it belongs to you in the long run.
Like a real estate company buys an acre or hectares of land, like develops it and sells it to people. But he is not sure if in the next 20 years the government of the day would maybe scuttle or all of that, and of course, which is still piling up on the housing.
We are talking about pest analysis.
Yes.
Government policies may erode. No, what I'll tell the public is, even if you are buying with a real estate company, engage a lawyer, please. When you identify the spot, the lawyer will tell you what to do. Okay? You want to buy with this A company, B company, C company, what area is that? If you brief me on that, this is not to advertise myself. The first thing a lawyer will do is to get his surveyor. The surveyor will go there and do what we call mapping of that area to find out whether those properties are under government acquisition or not. Because if it is not under government acquisition before they commence work there, the government cannot come in between to say this place under acquisition. It must have been marked under acquisition before the arrival of whoever is selling to whom, because the seller will not tell you. So even the estate, okay, if they did not do their proper investigation, but most of the estates, they will also carry out their own mapping to ensure that the community is not lying to them or the family is not lying to them. The place is not under acquisition. So hardly will you find a company that is credible that will fall short of that. They will not, because they have their own surveyor that will do that. You that is buying, come with your lawyer. Your lawyer will bring his team. They will do a mapping. They will sit there with the machine. The machine will zero in on that land. And if it's under government acquisition, the machine will tell you. It's not so you need to do that. Then when they prepare their deed of assignment or their contract of sale, whichever way you are paying, whether you are paying instrumentally or you are paying full. If you are paying instrumentally, what you need is a sales a contract of sale agreement. When you balance, then I give you a deed of assignment. But a deed of assignment that sever the previous owner of title and empower you with title. Okay? If you are paying once, you demand for a deed of assignment and a receipt of purchase. So when you have that, that is what you use to proceed to the land registry to register the title and to apply for C of O. That's all you need to that effect. So there is nothing like I paid for the land through this company, and after so years it's not mine. They can't do that, because if you have gone through the process and you have all your documents, you file a case against them, and there's no way all your evidence, your document will be thrown away, and then somebody no. That is why, whichever way you are buying, get a lawyer. A lawyer has to assist you. You cannot know these things. There's nothing we have not seen in land matter. There is nothing we have not seen in land matter. So you have to be careful. Get a lawyer. A lawyer will help you through the process. Don't say it's expensive, because by the time you finish wasting your money, you'll not discover that you just bought litigation. I have so many clients, when they were going to buy, they did not tell me. They use their hard-earned money to buy litigation. Even advice on how to invest your money. We advise clients on how to invest money. There's a client that says, no, I want to buy. It's in VI and in Lekki that we're buying. We'll buy. We'll put tenants. I said, okay, there's something I need to tell you about it. How about if we take these funds to this place and do this A, B, C, and I said, no. You are the lawyer, I'm the owner of the house. Okay, fine. We went to Lekki, we went to VI, we put tenants. After their first thing, they could not renew. As we're talking now, we're all in court. So almost like 80% of them were in court on trying to evict them. The next time I told him that, now you have a windfall again, you want to buy. Give me the money. Let me go to where I told you I'm going to go to. In that place, he said, okay, he would test it. He gave me part of the funds. I traveled. In that jurisdiction, we invested in students' area. So we bought a sizable number of property. You understand? In that place, eviction is 2 weeks. If you are owing, the court, in 2 weeks you are out. You bring in somebody else that can pay. So there's no settlement, there's nothing. Now, he saw the difference, the return in investment, and then called me as if he had known. I would have asked me to use all those funds. I said, but that's what I told you. You felt I'm a small boy. Hey, I don't know. You have money, you don't have money. This is I look at the return investment. Compare it with that. We are still in court to evict those people now. So please just get a lawyer. That's what you need. You will not make costly mistakes. If you don't get one, you have to get a lawyer. We advise you on what you will not be in trouble.
Very well said. Just like the barrister did say, please get a lawyer. Ignorance is, of course, it's no excuses to a lot of things.
Thank you. I want to say a very big thank you to Barrister Philly and Mr. Mabnag. Thank you for joining us in this session. When we return, federal government fines Meta $220 million for alleged data breaches. Just stay tuned.